All right, we're live. Okay. Can you see me and hear me still?
Yes, I can. Everything is fine.
All right. So today is a very important day, very special day to me. This means so much that you are coming on my channel because I'm going to give you a nice intro because you really did influence my life, whether you knew it or not, in such an amazing way. So this is to all my subscribers. This is the Nakshatra guru, Prashant Trivedi. He is a master of Vedic astrology, Vedic knowledge. He was actually the one that brought the Nakshatras to fruition, all the secrets about them. And he really started a whole new trend. And if you know anything about what I do with readings, I read charts with those. So I was honored that you're on the channel. I'm so excited that you're here. I wouldn't even have, I was just hoping you would have answered my initial message. So I'm really excited you're here. We're gonna talk about a lot of different topics. We're gonna talk about conspiracies, flat earth, because when we talked and we discovered we have a lot in common, some of the things we believe, some of the things that interest us. So I want you to tell everybody about your truth and how you got into the nakshatras, how you got into all of your knowledge, and I'll let you do most of the talking. So you have the show.
Thanks, Heidi. That's a very nice intro, like a very big, nice intro. But the thing with the nakshatras was that, like that in the Vedic system, these 27 like celestial portals, like you can call them like signs, were mentioned in the ancient texts, and but there was no information on them. There's just names were mentioned. Okay, so you have the names, but you don't have the characteristics properly, or anything, like the minor little things were there here and there, but from like more ancient knowledge was not there on them like anymore. Maybe because the texts are not there anymore, or people texts are not available, or the texts are not complete. There are a lot of things which come in the way, which when you deal with ancient texts. Okay, so the whole knowledge is not there. Like, so I started with the names and their degrees. Like each nakshatra is 13 degrees, and so 27 of them make the 360 degrees, 13 degrees, 20 minutes. And so I started with the like each degrees and started observing them like in the beginning. And sort of as I observed them, because the moon goes through one of these signs per day. So it's you can observe them on a daily basis. So that's how I started doing that. And then I sort of assimilated all of their characteristics, and made some notes. And that notes became that book, the 27 Celestial Portals. And it was released in 2003. And what happened after was that now everybody got onto that book, and now like nakshatras have become more common parlance everywhere. Like everybody discusses them. Like nobody sees charts without them, and you also using them in your readings. And thousands of people are all over the world, like hundreds and thousands of people are using them in their readings. Like, and so that's how this nakshatra thing came about. And it's like it's another one of these Vedic things which in the present time people first, the word Vedic is not a very known word, okay, in that way. Like, so like when people say, when they do yoga, for example, okay, in the West, okay, yoga has become big, right?
Yeah.
But then yoga is not necessarily associated to Vedic, okay, because in Vedic the term is yog. It's not yoga, it's yog. Okay, the Vedic term, Sanskrit term is yog, and yog just means union. Okay, so union with higher and divine, that's what yoga is. So when it came to the West, it has become yoga, which is just like putting your body into all these kind of different postures and things. Like an aerobics of sorts. It's like an aerobics of sorts, which it has become. So what I'm trying to like say here is that like the Vedic things actually get um, translated into something else, and it doesn't stay what it is anymore. And by the time it reaches the West, or even it goes in India, like it is not what it was meant to be from the very beginning, what its source is. Okay, so things actually change a whole lot. So in regards to like what is known as Vedic astrology, that has happened. A lot of Vedic astrology, which is taught in the West right now by different people and stuff, it's not really Vedic, actually. I mean, there's nothing Vedic about it, because the system is not Vedic, and a lot of the things which they are teaching are the things which have come in the last 5,000 years. Like, people have had commentaries, people have written a lot of things in the last 5,000 years, and those things are being taught under the big umbrella of Vedic astrology or Jyotish. Okay, Jyotish is the Sanskrit term. Okay, so, and now there's another thing called Vedic astrology, and under that there are also systems like Parashar system, Gemini system, and Bhrigu system. They're
confusing.
okay, there are many systems. Okay, but all of them come under this umbrella term Vedic astrology, and this Vedic thing has become a sort of a, like, the most misunderstood thing in this world. Like, right now, because there's Hinduism, so people think that like Hinduism is Vedic, but that's not. Like, the modern day Hinduism has got very little to do with Vedic things again. So it has become a like a thing which is not properly understood. And so my whole effort is like always to make sure that the Vedic thing comes out in the way it was, or originally what it was meant to be. Okay,
Right.
so that is my general approach to everything, and the same I did with Nakshatras, and that's how I got my things. And so,
And I love what you said on a lot of the interview. You did an interview with Kapil, and you did who brought the Nakshatras, brought Vedic astrology out a lot, right? And had really modernized it. And then Dr. Arjun Pai, who I studied Nakshatras from, they both said they read your books multiple times. Like, you were and so I was watching all of your interviews, and what it's so true, and what's so amazing is, I think a good thing you said, that the Nakshatras, if you know them and you're in control, because I think, and if you don't know them and you don't have this knowledge, it controls you.
Yeah.
And I really like that, because, I have kind of a heavy chart, you saw it. And, I've had a lot of negative readings. And even though you and I kind of have a totally different side of views of the world, and we get into the deep, dark stuff too, it's like you still spin it to a positive way. Because I think I get some charts that have 4 and 5 conjunctions in one house all the time. Like, that's my trend. And the way I've studied it and learned it and how I can give readings is through these 27 lunar mansions. And I think it's so important, because you
the thing is that this positive negative thing is another thing which people have to sort of understand. Like, energy is energy, right? Everything is energy, right? Now, energy can be utilized. You can use energy. I mean, whatever energy you have, like, you can use it better. Like, I mean, there's no energy which you can't use.
Right.
Okay. There is no such energy which you cannot use. I mean, there is no such energy, like, actually, like, which you cannot use. So, like, it's like how do you utilize it? Like, you can utilize something positively or negatively. And positive negative means, like, either you are growing or evolving, or you're not. Right. Either you're learning or evolving, or you're not. I mean, that is the only up and down, actually. I mean, and that being does to oneself. And I mean, like, people think that some things are more harder to, like, sort of utilize. It's not so, actually. Like, I mean, an energy which is harder to utilize has got that core discipline in it automatically more to utilize it. Okay, so it's not that, like, I mean, everything is the same in that way. Like, it's a matter of utilization and the person's will to learn, evolve themselves. Okay, when it comes to that, then everything is useful. And then nakshatras are useful too. Like, how your thing is going, then you can control it. What is going on, like, exactly with you and why. And so you can sort of, because you look at it and you say, oh yeah, this is because of that, that is that. So okay, when it becomes easier to handle suddenly. The same.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, the same thing becomes easier to handle. Otherwise, why is this happening to me, or why am I like this, or like all of that. Those questions plague people, and that is what creates confusion and sort of like brings people down. Yeah.
And I have to say, like, thank you, because I don't know where I would be if I didn't find it. And I mean, honestly, I really learned who I was, right? Yeah. Which that's what I needed. That's what I wanted to know was, why am I here? What's my purpose? Yeah. Why is everybody here? And when
everybody's here, like, I'll cut you there a little bit. Everybody's here to evolve. Like, I mean, everybody's purpose is the same. I mean, there's no being out here, no person out here who's not there to evolve. I mean, That's a fact. I mean, I mean, people are always thinking that everybody's path is different or not. It's not so. Like everybody has to do the exact same. Everybody's here for the same thing. Everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants evolution. Everybody wants all the good things. Like, I mean, nobody's out. Yeah. Like, I mean, everybody's goal is the same actually in the end. Like, so, I mean, everybody's out here for the same reason. I mean, so it's, what people like, I mean, this is a new age thing and stuff, which mostly in the West, which has been promoted. No, like my path is different, your path is different. I mean, there's a divine, there's a multiverse universe, and this universe has a law. I mean, that law is the same for everybody. I mean, how can it be different for different
I
beings?
love when you talk about that. So let's go into, because this really was interesting when you said this, you talked about the flat earth. The earth is flat. And if you can, because I never knew, but that wasn't something that I even worried about, because I don't know, I'm never going to know. So I just really didn't care.
Yeah.
So, but I want you to explain why you not think, because you don't think things, you just either know or don't know. So if you want to get into that, because I have a lot of subscribers that follow that and want to know that.
I mean, the thing is that Earth is flat from like the commonsensical perspective. If you put the commonsensical perspective, if you put yourself out, you look around, then it is flat. If you do the experiments, like many experiments have been done, like over like miles and miles, you can still see things. And if you do the experiment, it'll come out, Earth is flat. There's no curve. I mean, water does not curve. Like that is like, there's trillions and tons of water on oceans. I mean, for me personally, the most important thing was that in the Vedic things, it's Bhumandal. It's a flat plane in the Vedic. Like in the Vedic cosmology, Earth is a flat plane. Okay. So, and on top of that, everything which you look at commonsensically adds up to that. I mean, all of the things like, I mean, now there are so many flat Earth films on YouTube. I mean, people can go and research them and look into them. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of hours worth of information and things out there. And I mean, they'll find that it is very hard to prove the ball Earth from NASA, like, to stick to that, because even NASA like is always like contradicting itself. They say Earth is a ball, and then they say Earth is an oblate spheroid, so it's like this. Okay. But then all of their so-called composite images always show Earth to be a pure sphere, like spherical. So they have to make up their mind. Is it an oblate spheroid or is it a sphere? So, I mean, like their lies are not very, they're not very good with their lies. Like, they're not doing a professional job with it. They're not sticking to one story or anything like that. So, which raises suspicion in everybody else who believes that in the first place. But I think the whole thing is it's from a spiritual point of view, like the whole, I think the cosmology they have given us now, that you are a little speck revolving around the sun, like just rotating, revolving. And then the sun is revolving around the Milky Way like madly. So it's like a continuous merry-go-round basically for no rhyme or reason. And then you are on this little speck. So, and you are a little insignificant thing on this little speck, then your life doesn't have a meaning. The human life is meaningless because you're on a little tiny speck in this big universe, and which you mean nothing basically. It undervalues human life and existence. And that's what I think the purpose of all of these like deception or all these lies was, to make humans not understand their place in the universe and not take responsibility for themselves and not understand that we are on a plane and there are higher planes, there are lower planes. As the actions you do, you can go to higher planes or lower planes. All of this can happen to you. Then your whole life, your whole perspective changes. So it's much more than just Earth being flat. Earth being flat is just like a basic thing. Yeah, it is flat. Okay. But it is much more than that. Like it's like it gives you a sense of up and down, which this rotating continuous merry-go-round doesn't give you any, like, because this is this merry-go-round has no meaning. Like, why is Earth rotating around the sun? The sun is rotating around the center of the Milky Way. I mean, you rotating and rotating everybody like for no rhyme or reason. Like,
right.
I mean,
you made a good point. You even said that NASA, there's no proven pictures of the Earth, right? That's real.
There's composites. Yeah, like even the pictures they put are composites, and they are badly done. Like even from a graphics point of view, they sometimes make America big, sometimes small, sometimes they're doing a good job of making those pictures. Whosoever they're employing, like, to make those composites, like, is not doing a good job. Like, I mean, so, I mean, that is I mean, even like anybody with little common sense can tell that that is not real. I mean, and people who are in denial, they are in denial. I mean, they're people who are going to be in denial, they'll be in denial about everything. Like, there is nothing, you know, you,
Yeah.
you cannot prove something to them. Like, like,
So that's, that,
yeah,
I always wonder, like, why are we here, and who's controlling the world? And, me going on a conspiracy channel, doing my first video was it really opened up my eyes to a lot of different topics.
yeah.
So like the Illuminati or whatever you want to call it.
Desperati. I call them desperati. Yeah.
Desperati. David Icke. And it's funny I brought up David Icke because he really kind of confused me with the whole cult of Saturn thing, right? So the Satanism, Saturn, and
okay. Yeah. That's a good point you brought up. You brought up, like, because again, like, Satan is a big thing in the West, right? Let's own up to, like, Satan is a big thing in the West. Okay, Satan. I mean, the whole Christian church is based on, like, this fight with Satan, right? Like, it was a big thing, and now it has become a big thing anyways. Like, so some people, I mean, so Satan was from Saturn. Like, I mean, that is, Saturn is just one of the, like, these grahas. In Sanskrit, we call them grahas, which is like Caesars. We don't call them planets. Okay, like Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Sun. None of these things are called Saturn. They're not called planets. They're called grahas. Grahas means they just seize you, like they influence you. Okay, so like, again, the word planet can be ascribed to Earth because Earth is a plane. Okay, plane crossing, but with a T. But these things are not planets. Okay, so now these are entities. They're like entities in the Vedic thing. Okay, now all these entities are, like, as per the divine order. Okay, I mean, none of them are outside of the divine order. All of these entities, whether it's Mercury or whether it's Jupiter. Now Jupiter became Zeus, which became Jesus. Okay, Zeus, and then the Sun, which became the Christ figure with the 12 disciples, the 12 signs, the Sun going through the 12 signs, all of that. I mean, people who have done syncretism have explained all of that very nicely anyways. That, I mean, everything which has been there, like, I mean, now they're in Islam, they're worshipping the black cube in Mecca, which is symbol of Saturn. Okay, their flag has got that pentagram, which is Venus. So there's Venus worship, there's Saturn worship, there's Jupiter worship, there's Sun worship. All of this is going on. Okay, and all of these things are, like, everything is, like, people are worshipping these different entities, which are these, and they are as per the divine order. These entities, it's not like they are somehow outside of that thing. I mean, Saturn got a bad rap because Saturn was the one which gave you consequences. Okay, so if you do some actions, so that is the thing which would, in time, because it was connected to time, that it will give you a consequence of what you've done. Okay, so nobody likes that. I mean, every people like actions, nobody likes consequences. I mean, let's face up to it. I mean, that's the fact. Okay, like, everybody likes actions, nobody likes consequences. Okay, so anything which is going to mete out the punishment or consequence will be seen as the negative entity or negative figure. But I mean, that thing is not doing anything out of the ordinary or anything in that. So I find that this whole Satanism thing in the West, like the Satanism versus Christianity and all of that, is like two kids, like, fighting with each other, and both are in a bad situation. Like, they don't know anything. I mean, it's like it's a useless kind of thing. I mean, just to, like, but it doesn't lead to anything. It doesn't lead to any clear knowledge or understanding of the universe, actually. So, like, so all of these negative things about moon, Saturn matrix, the moon is the problem, or Saturn is a problem. I mean, these things are not the problem. Like, the beings and their own actions are the problem.
Right.
Okay?
Right. I agree. Yeah. I totally agree with you on that.
Nothing outside is the problem. Okay. Problem is just you, what you choose to do, like yourself. Okay. And which they don't have to have responsibility for in the Christian thing in the West and stuff, because you don't have any responsibility, because all of your sins will be taken care of by some person, some other person somewhere. Okay. Like, okay. So that is the thing. Like, it's not, it was all about not taking responsibility for oneself. And that's how all these so-called devils and Satans and everything got, because in the Vedic thing, there is no such thing. There is no villain.
Right.
Ever in the Vedic thing. There just isn't.
Well, what about Rahu? Can you start? Just, I'm curious. What about Rahu and Ketu then? Don't they call those demons in a way? Or maybe that's just misconstrued too?
I mean, demon is a good word. I mean, even the word demon, Damien is a good word. It means energy. Okay. You have a certain kind of power or energy, you call it that. Okay. All these are words for power. Okay. So power energy is power and energy. Okay. I mean, like Rahu and Ketu, and Ketu is moksha in Sanskrit. Moksha means it is a significator of liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Okay, so now what can be better than that? I mean
right,
that's quite a good thing, isn't it? And Rahu always is intelligent enough to, like, for example, like in this day and age, for example, like Rahu can see through deception and lies, and it can see, oh, the thing, okay, this, I'm being lied to here, and this is not right, and this is, so I mean that is a good faculty to have, isn't it? Like that you see through the deception. I mean, it's not a bad quality to have, like,
right,
or in a, like, which plows through all of this, that thing. So I mean, they are all positive. Like there's nothing negative about.
And that's what I like about you, because it's like I've had to deal with K2 in the first, or whatever, close to the 12th, my entire life. So that is how, if I looked at it negatively, you know, my chart would have went 100% different way. But I've looked at it and embraced K2, embraced Saturn, learned this. And that's what you have to do. I think it's so important because...
Yeah, obviously, I mean, because these are all part of the multiverse's energy functionings. I mean, there's energy, and energy has its different aspects. And one has to have a reverence for all of the aspects. One can't just say, like, I like this aspect, but I don't like this aspect, or I don't like this. I mean, you contain them all, like you have your function on them all. Like, I mean, even in a human body, you function through all of the organs. If all the organs function well, only then you function. You know, you can't like say, I don't like this one, I don't like that one, or like, I mean, that just like you're hitting on yourself. You're not hitting on anything.
True.
So that's the thing. I mean, I think like that's why all these wars, like, again, like, I mean, they've always had they call them planetary wars. Like in the Greek mythology, that Saturn is fighting with Jupiter, Jupiter is fighting with Saturn, and Mars is fighting with Mercury. All this fighting is going on continuously and stuff like that. In the Vedic thing, there's no such thing. Okay, so in the Vedic thing, there was no war going on. There was nothing going on. Okay,
it's so true. It's how you look at it, because and then people program us to have that. So then obviously when you have those two energies together, you're automatically going to do that, because it's just, you know it. So why not? It's okay. But right?
Like, but as human beings, you're synthesizing those energies. As a human being on Earth, as a person, you are synthesizing those energies. You're not there to create conflict between those energies. Okay. I mean, because then you want to create conflict for yourself. I mean, there's nothing else which you're going to do. Like, I mean, that's not your purpose. Your purpose is to harmonize everything and synthesize everything, you know, and that can't happen when you create villains out of these things, which is a fashion right now. And I mean, it's fine, because some people get to speak a lot because of that. You know, people have whole channels dedicated to it. A lot of people can speak a lot of things just because these things are there. I mean, if you have something negative to say about something, you can say much more, you know, like you can go on and on and on and on about it. Like it gives you a whole lot of scope to that. Yeah, but it's just, it's like actually villainizing something which you don't understand, basically, mostly, you know, like, because you don't really understand what it is, you know, like, because this planet Saturn was connected to Shiv in the Vedic thing, which is one of the Trinity. And so, but even Shiv was not seen as a evil being. Shiv was seen with his third eye open and a being with power. Okay, but he's not seen as an evil being. Like in the West, like it becomes in the Lord of the Rings, where the eye is there, the tower, that becomes the villain. So always this villainizing whatever things have power, which are more powerful than you, will not get you anywhere, actually. Okay. I mean, that has to be understood. Like,
so true, though. I mean, think about it. That's all the powers use all this. They spin it so to make it look negative that we don't tap into it because we're scared of it, right?
Yeah.
And they want us to be scared. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what has happened. So they so we can be.
Yeah, but because then beings will never synthesize anything and they will not get any power. And when beings don't get any power, then they can be kept as slaves out on, because the beings who are, that's why I call them desperati, they're controlling all these people. I mean, now these people don't have much, any power, really. Okay, so then they have to keep the masses in a very low state and a very non-empowered state to keep them in that slave state. Okay, so they obviously want people to think in all of these ways. And that's why they have created this programming around, like in, like, you know, like the Wizard of Oz movie, you know,
Yes.
like they are like that thing behind the curtain, you know. So
Right.
yeah, so it's like that, like, so it is they have created this sense like that, and so that people are always like, that's where the Vedic thing, I think, gives the beings actually a way out of all this, because that synthesizes everything. Okay, it's,
you know, I just want to say is ever since I learned that, and I went straight to, you know, the Nakshatras, totally. And ever since I learned that, all my fear of everything has gone away. It's like, so, and when you say that, it's true, because I'm not scared to die anymore. Okay. I'm not scared of a lot of things. Like, okay, for instance, this eclipse. Here we go with the eclipse, right? There's a big, it's going across the country, revelations, blah, blah, blah. And I did a video recently and I said, you know, there's 2 eclipses every year. It just happens to go through the United States. Yes, it can be intense. It's an intense energy, but I think people are making it a little, pumping it up too much.
Yeah, the thing is that eclipses are, again, if you know, but from the Vedic point of view, they are connected to the nodes. They're connected to the Rahu and Ketu, right? Okay.
Right.
Again, so it's the demonization of Rahu and Ketu only, which is creating this whole thing about eclipses, like this fear and psychosis, which is connected to the eclipses. I mean, eclipses are happening many, like some goes through America, some will go through Europe, some will go through Asia, some will go through, like, I mean, the thing is that it is just that energy. And if you are comfortable with that energy, if you understand that energy, you know what it's trying to do, then you have no problems, you know. And, you know, I can tell, like, on this interview, I can say clearly that no, the world is not going to end in this eclipse. Okay, like, I mean, because there might be so many channels is dedicated to that, like, you know, which are saying that, and people are all afraid and stuff like that. I can just say that.
Do you think I want to know though, do you think it's good to look at it and embrace it, or do you think it's best to stay indoors and not look at it?
I mean, whether you look at it or don't look at it makes no difference. Okay. Well, embracing and stuff means on an energetic level. Okay. It means like whether you are understanding the energy, like if some kind of impulses are coming because of certain planets, whether you understand, or because of these grahas, whether you understand that or not. It's that understanding and decision making as a human being, which you do, which is the most important thing. Okay.
Like, so the outer planets, were they part of the Vedic knowledge? Were they part of the grahas, or no, they're not? That Uranus, Neptune, Pluto.
I mean, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, there are names for them.
Okay.
There are Sanskrit names for them. Again, names are there, but nothing much has been said about it. Again, the texts are there, not there, or not, like, okay. So, and they were connected to the Trinity. Okay, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv. Okay, the Uranus, connected with Brahma, and Neptune was connected with Vishnu, and Pluto was connected with Shiv. So again, it was a Trinity which it was connected to. Now that Trinity became the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, and whatever, like, I mean, in the West or whatever it became, like, but Trinity was a Trinity. Okay, like before in the Vedic thing. Okay, and so these particular that things, like thinking about them in a way which is again negative will not that thing. And I mean, I won't even call them planets or something, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. It's like they're just like this Trinity kind of energy, which is beyond the realm of Saturn. Okay. Look, because the Saturn is the last thing which creates the, like, that thing in which you can't get out of that ring. It creates a ring. So unless you have done the right actions, or unless you have reached that level, it will not let you go outside of that, which is like either this plane of existence, or into higher planes, or into the realm of the Trinities. Okay. Like Brahmalok is a higher lok, you know, it's a higher advanced realm. So like Saturn is the kind of thing which creates that ring. Okay. So it's a taskmaster in that way. So again, it gets a bad rap for that. Okay. Like, you know, so yeah. So
again, it makes so much sense what you say. I mean, Because there is no proof. Like there's no what everybody has made up in the stories and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it literally logistically makes more sense what you're speaking of, because it's just.
I mean, they say like hex, the Saturn is hexing, like they found a hex on that thing. It's that's fine. I mean, hex is there in nature, and that's the flower of life and everything. Then pent is there too. Then hex is there, pent is there. In the sacred geometry, all those shapes are there. I mean, you can't call this one evil on this one not evil. Like, I mean, that's just not the way to go. I mean, no, like, I mean, like this number is good and this number is evil. I mean, one can't go like that. Like, you know.
Well, yeah, my best friend, that's a guy, his birthday is 6666, and he's like the nicest guy in the world, would do anything for anybody. And I'm like, that blows the whole 666 thing. And for me, that's all it
I mean, six is just that thing. It's like a flower. So if you have a 6-petal flower, like, will you say that's a bad flower? Oh, it has 6 petals now. I mean, it's the flower of the devil now. Like, I mean, because it's.
Yeah.
I mean, how far are you going to take this? I mean, like, if you demonize the whole number 6, like I'm saying, then, I mean, what are you doing exactly? Again, it comes down to the same thing. Like, you are actually like creating fear about certain energies in people, which are nothing to do with the, like, I mean, if the number 6 wasn't there, then you will not be any fruits or flowers or anything like that. Okay. So, I mean,
that's so true though.
I mean, what are people saying? I mean, it's just, it's just total lot of confusion. I think, and all of the confusion is coming from and this Vedic thing, I think, was there all over the earth. Okay. And now that knowledge has become scattered, and it has become, like, let's say, distorted, and it has become like little parts are there of that. And that creates a whole lot of confusion everywhere, like, so, I mean, people can go and learn Vedic things more, actually learn, not as a profession, not as a job, or not as that thing, but if they actually go and learn it, then they'll find that a lot of their confusions are going out. Because people, what they do is, if they start learning something, they immediately try to turn it into, like, okay, you start learning astrology and you become a Vedic astrologer, and then, like, you have made that into a profession. Then, like, everything after that, you cannot speak the truth. You can't like study things properly. You can't really, because you have to always stick to your little agenda or whatever. Like, if you go without an agenda and don't have any agenda and learn things properly, then that's, I mean, everything is there still. Like,
that's really what happened with me. It's not like it just happened, and it's strange to me. And but I am a totally different person. I mean, and I can say that it really made me a lot more aware of everything. Good, whatever they call bad or whatever. I mean, you just understand everything. You forgive people easier. It's in their chart, or it's in their personality. There's nothing you can do about it,
because mostly you take care of yourself. Like, you are responsible for yourself.
Right.
So your energy is going improving yourself. It's not going into, like, what this person did to me or this person did to me. That's not what your energy is going into. Like, and if you are into yourself, and it gives you the smartness of what to avoid, what not to avoid, and all of that comes to you anyways. Like, when you equip with knowing and knowledge, then that thing is there automatically. You'll know what to do. Okay.
Right.
So you will avoid things and stuff like that. So less of the so-called bad things will happen to you anyways. Like,
right.
you will have all the energy to go further up and that thing, rather than go down. Even, like, for example, Ayurveda, which is part of Vedic things, which is like healing with herbs and stuff, without operations and without all the hellish torture and that thing of allopathy. And so, I mean, that system has come into the West again, but again, that is just coming out together in one way only. So Ayurveda is being kept separate, Vedic astrology is being kept separate. I mean, the mythology is being kept separate, the cosmology is being kept separate, everything is being kept separate. So the like overall synthesis is not being created of the Vedic things. Okay. And because from the Vedic viewpoint, you can actually sort out a lot of the modern things, like all the things which people have, about, like, these reptilians, like, are the royal family reptilians or not? Okay, like, all these questions which arise right now, you can answer them, and you can, and I can tell you that they are not. Okay. They don't shape at night. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but because it gives you that sense, and no, because these people are people only, like, I mean, beings can be like taken over by other entities. Okay, but those entities are not physical then.
Right.
They're
Right.
not, they're not made of earth and matter. Like, okay.
Right.
So, I mean, that possession and stuff is a totally different topic. Okay. But that's got nothing to do with somebody turning into like a lizard and then coming back into human form. Okay.
I've never seen it, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure David Icke never saw it either, like by his own
you
eyes.
met him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Go
met
ahead.
David Icke. Yeah. And I told him that, like, look, you haven't seen it. And like, there's no point. And I think that from what he was saying was useful for these families, because it made them stand out from the crowd. That's what they want. They want to be stand out from the crowd. Okay, if they say like they're not us, they don't like us, they're not normal human beings, they're not that thing, they are this thing, and they turn into this. So it gives them that sense of like they're like X-Men, like so, or
And you make
X-Woman.
a good point though, because you said it distracts everybody from the
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
That's why they let him slide with it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why it was good for them. Like, I mean, all of that worked in their favor, actually, the whole thing. And that's what I told him. But I mean, he didn't listen. That was in 2004, and this is 2017. And after that, like, a lot of people got very confused, and people whoever were going into what is called conspiracy now, people look down upon them because they say, oh, those are the people who believe in those green lizards,
Reptilian. Yeah.
or those people, those are the people who are like. So it gave a bad image to the whole movement, truth movement, the one which wants to seek out the truth, actually, like, and like all of these things come as distractions in between, like you pointed out, like the distraction. Yeah, it was a distraction, and it has died down now, but it still is a distraction for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely is. And people really do take this to another level. I mean,
Yeah.
And I think it can be very upsetting because I get calls all the time from people that are going to bunkers. They're worried about this. They're worried about that. They're worried about aliens. And it's like
A lie. Yeah.
And it's yeah. I don't know. You said that.
Alien is a lie. Is a lie.
I mean, it's funny when you
I mean, you can make those dolls up, like, those what they show is alien dolls. I mean, you can put up a normal person and put a rubber thing around them and make them go around in that. I mean, with that head. I mean, like a Mickey Mouse kind of thing. I mean, it's a Mickey Mouse kind of thing, only like that thing. I mean, it's not different from Mickey Mouse, the whole thing. Like, and I mean, and people have in America especially, they did a lot of mind programming like that of those aliens with those bug eyes and these other things. And I mean, it's like a childish toy kind of story. Like, if you come from the Vedic point of view, that's what you'll understand. And the Vedic is not saying that they're not different beings. The Vedic says there are many kinds of beings exist in this universe. Okay, and they are in different realms. All kinds of beings exist. But this kind of thing which they show you, like, which is like total nonsense, it can definitely show that there's nothing there. Okay, like, so I mean, yeah, that's
because if you think about it, even people could have looked different many years ago, right?
Yeah.
And just they change, their heads grow smaller. I mean, who knows, right? No,
Yeah.
And I think definitely the conspiracies about poisoning us and stuff, that's true. That stuff should be looked at, and controlling us, and the child pedophilia rings that you said.
Yeah, I mean, people don't have anything to eat, for example. If they're given just GMO food, then whatever diet they're having is all bad. I mean, when you start with the basic things like your food, water, and air, the three things which are basic for you, and if you all of this is being like tampered with, and you're not getting enough nutrients in that thing, then basically they don't allowing you to like function as a being fully as you can. Like, they're trying to create obstructions to it, like your functioning. So that is the kind of thing which is just a factual thing, based thing. And so that is a totally different thing, like, which you pointed out, like then the alien, these things which are doing it all, like, like, again, that's a good thing to pass the blame onto something. Okay, it's these people who are doing that. Okay, I mean, the people like the families or whatever who are in power, who have who control the world's finances, who control this kind of thing. I mean, they are just in a position where they have to keep masses somehow down, somehow, like, so everything which is done for that. Like, I mean, there's no other purpose to this, like, except that, like,
And if everybody was evolved and knew what they knew or whatever, they wouldn't have control anymore, and they wouldn't
they
have
won't have a chance. They won't have a chance. I mean, you can't spread out lies in amongst people who are actually like conscious and who are actually looking at things for themselves, who are taking responsibility for themselves, their own actions. You can't control such beings. You can't, like, I mean, you just can't do that. I mean, so, I mean, everything they teach in school these days, everything or every system is all false, and it's all for training people to not do the right thing. Okay. And like, for example, if they have music videos or music and stuff like that, it'll all about not being graceful. Okay. About not improving yourself. Okay. Or you can talk like that, or you can walk like that, or which is not going to be good for you yourself. It's not like it's going to do anything to anybody else. It'll annoy just us. It'll annoy other people. That's all.
Right.
It might maximum cause an annoyance in other people, but finally the bad result is going to come for you only. Like,
True.
I mean, it's you're not harming anybody else except yourself. Like, when you do all, and that's why they promote anything which is harming itself. So like any being which is harming itself in any way, it becomes a celebrity. Whether it's an athlete torturing itself, or on a bicycle on a Tour de France, or like, because that kind of posture for the spine is so bad. Like, I mean, all the things which are like pain and torture is sort of glorified. You have WWF, you have so many things where people's idols and people's that things are beings who are actually not taking responsibility for themselves.
Like even hot yoga. Let me tell you, I did that, and I did it once, and my nose was running like crazy. I had the worst allergic reaction, and I was like, I would never do this again in my life, and I never did.
Okay, I mean, like personally, I'm against all the whole term yoga itself and whatever is done under that banner all over the world. Okay, like it is. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's wrong in so many ways. It's got nothing to do with the actual Vedic knowledge. Okay. I mean, in Vedic thing, like if you just take care of your body nicely and that was good enough. You don't have to become like a gymnast, like
right.
in order to be healthy. In fact, it was unhealthy to try to do these things. Your body's not there, like it's not like a rubber doll, which you keep on putting its leg up and down and that thing and stuff like that, which people are trying to make it into. It has a higher purpose, and it is a tool, and it is for a higher purpose for evolving you. But
you don't have to work out if you eat like horribly, right? Because if you eat normally and you eat what you're supposed to eat, I have noticed a big difference not eating when I don't eat meat, because then I never knew anything about it. I just didn't. I'm not picky. I like sauce, so. I'm not like, I could eat grass if it had the right sauce on it. And I will say I have felt better since I stopped eating meat. Totally.
Okay. The thing is, I mean, meat eating was, again, like it's a, like, I mean, if people look at it sensibly, we are not designed for it. We have very long intestine. Okay. Very long. Where the carnivores like lions and tigers, and so they have very short intestine. So, I mean, meat goes there and stays there for days, and we don't have the teeth for it. We don't have the stomach for it. We don't have anything for eating meat. I mean, there are enough seeds and fruits on earth for human beings to live on. There were enough seeds and fruits. There still are, and they always were. I mean, so to unnecessarily kill another animal or a being and create that violence and then eat that violence will obviously affect you. So many animals are being killed, like, and then there is a price for that. Like, so I mean, those people who are like controlling the thing, they understand that, and that's why they organize things called wars, where people have to be sacrificed. So, like, if you're killing that many animals, so certain number of humans have to be sacrificed in order to balance that energy, because you're creating that negative vibration. Okay, and you have to balance it out somehow. Like, okay.
So that's what they think, so that's why they kill babies and kids.
Because I mean, balance has to be restored. I mean, you can't just keep on doing something. I mean, if that energy was just left to be, like, if the negative energy keeps on growing, all beings will go mad. People will just lose it.
Right.
If it's just allowed to, that thing. And then nobody will be able to do work. Nobody will be able to go to their job. This whole system will fall apart. I mean, and the people who are, they think they can't have that. They can't have this whole system falling apart and people not being able to function at all. They can't have that. So they have to create some sense of energy balance, and that's why, like, that is, war is just nothing but human sacrifice. Okay. Like,
Wow.
It's dressed in another term, like, but it's just human sacrifice. Yeah.
What about the sexual sacrifices when they do that with torture
I mean,
people?
when human sacrifice is happening, then everything else will happen too. Okay. All the perversions, whether
Yeah.
it's pedophilia or whether it's anything, it's gonna keep on happening. I mean, it's been happening since the Roman time. In the Roman Empire, it was happening. Okay. And Washington is the new Rome. So I mean, it is built like Rome. I mean, it is the Roman Empire. So what was happening then? It'll happen even more right now, because that time things were limited, like resources were limited. Whatever thing was, I mean, it's much more now. So whatever was happening then will happen more now. So I mean, there's no end to perversions when you are entering that realm of pain and torture. Once you enter that game, okay, there is no, like, everything is gonna happen. Like whether it's you, like, I mean, I told you there's so much human sacrifice is happening. Whether it's World War One, World War Two, they were all just like, there are so many wars happening all the time, and it's human sacrifice. Okay. And because they're making them do animal sacrifice first. Humans are doing animal sacrifice, then you do human sacrifice in order to balance that out. Okay. I mean, and and if people are eating meat and that thing, and people are doing their kind of actions, then they get all these negative impulses which come out as pedophilia or any other things. You know, like, so all of that is all connected. What I'm saying is everything is connected, and meat eating is at the core root of it. Actually, basic,
Wow.
basic, like at the core level. And that's why Vedic thing was all about vegetarianism. Like, that is the basic number one thing in it. So yeah.
Wow. And it's simple. I mean, it's literally, I like
Yeah.
how you talk about the multiverse
Yeah.
laws. And
Yeah.
I think that's so important because all the laws that we have here and everything that we need, they teach us and try to tell us what is right, what is
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
No, it's simple. Like it's very simple. It's do the right thing. And, you've
Yeah.
said multiple things
Yeah.
and it's true. It's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the multiverse has its laws, and I mean, those are the important laws. All the so-called laws which we have made, like man-made laws, they are just to keep the sheep in order, right? They're to keep the sheeple in order. They're not there to do anything else, and they're there to create tension in people. They're there to create negative emotions, negative vibrations. Okay, people are always tense. Oh my, how am I this thing gonna get done? How is that thing gonna get done? Everything is so complicated in this world right now, right? Because of
yeah.
all these rules, and there are 1,000 things you have to go through for any single thing, like, right?
To get
Like,
a just to
yeah,
go get a
yeah,
passport or whatever. It's
yeah,
like
yeah, 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 yeah,
nuts.
yeah, yeah. It's like to travel, to do anything, everything is like, so it is like that, so that people are always in tension. Okay. Okay, it's a negative energy. It's not like you are allowed to exist in the multiverse laws. If you are following them, then there'll be no such tension. It's actually tension relieving, and all of their laws are tension causing. Okay, and their laws only exist for like people. They don't exist for people who are running the show. I mean, they're exempt from everything like that. All these exist for only common people, or the sheeple, whatever they call them. Yeah, they don't exist for. Yeah.
So in a way, we are slaves. I mean, they do want us to be slaves. I think they know that there's power in that, and
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, and to keep them dumb. I mean, yeah. I mean, to keep people dumb, and not let them get through a synthesis of energies. Like, always keep on them, scaring them about something or the other. You
Right.
know, yeah.
I
Like,
mean, even
Satan
with
is bad,
religion.
but Santa is good.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay, okay, but Santa is Satan only. Like, it is just N and A here and there. Like, what? Like, I mean, it's just,
Even religions, like somebody said to me on one of the comments
yeah,
of this video I did, there he literally said, "You're
yeah,
going to hell, serpent worshiper, blah blah blah." And I said, he's like, Jesus didn't like astrology, blah blah blah. And I said, you are exactly turning your Christianity just like how Islam, Muslim turned ISIS. That they feed that. They want us to all hate each other. I
I
said
mean,
that.
the point is, I mean, Isis was the name for feminine energy, right? Isis
Right.
is a feminine principle, feminine reproductive feminine principle. What has that got to do with killing or an organization? I mean, these things are all made up by the same people. I mean, like, they control all the sides. Okay, I mean, that is what a lot of people have gotten it right, that these people control all the sides, whether Islam, Christianity, anything. I mean, all these ISIS, all these so-called terrorists are all controlled by these people only. I mean, just like, I mean, everybody knows these kind of things, that these are the things which are controlling every side, and they are basically making them fight each other. And people are just dumb and stupid enough to believe that, and then fight each other on the basis of that. Yeah.
Well, I think it's really nice to hear you say it too, because
Yeah.
A lot of, I think, people in, I know I'm not going to, so I know you said Indians are very different and Hindus are very different than knowing the Vedic knowledge. So when, it's sometimes they don't talk about any of this and it's all shifted in a different way. And it's important, I think, that you say this because my followers believe all this stuff that you're saying, maybe
because that is just like people are trying to survive in this world. Okay.
Yeah.
People are just concentrating on surviving. That's all. Like just how will I survive? That's all. Like, and I mean, a lot of that mentality and stuff like in India and stuff is mostly to just get a job and survive and stuff like that. Okay. Right. So they don't like, that's like putting the ostrich with the head in the sand mentality. People just want to put their head in the sand. Oh, there's nothing like this. There's none of this exists and that thing.
Right.
Yeah. But which, there's nothing very good comes of that. Putting the head in the sand, nothing good is ever going to come of that. And then nothing good has ever come of that. You will face the consequences for that, sooner or later. Yeah. But so it's not a good thing to do, whether anybody is in the West or the East, but there is awareness growing now. Things are actually coming out in the last 10 years. Things have started coming out now, in YouTube and stuff, like where this will be going, because before YouTube was there, I used to have a channel, like in 2004, 2005, I used to have a channel where I used to stream movies in a tube TV, old style tube TV. They were audio visual coherence sort of things, which I used to make, and I used to tube them, and so it was my tube at that time. And after a year, the YouTube came out of that. I know people saw that or whatever, then YouTube came out of that. So which became this thing. And now a lot of information and a lot of truth has come out in the last 10 odd years, on this. So this awareness is growing, and which cannot be stopped. It's like a ball which is moving now, so it cannot be stopped anymore. So people will come to know, and then everybody will come to know everything, sort of. But then people will have to make a choice. It'll come to a point where beings have to make a choice. Okay, what I'm going to do with it? Okay, I know this now. That I know that. Then what am I going to do about it? So.
And that's a powerful choice. That's a great place to be in too, though. I think it's a very liberating thing, because once you know and you've made a choice, you can just be happier. Because I just want.
It's much better than being in the dark. It's much better than being in the dark and just being led into make choices without while being ignorant. Okay, or while putting the head in the sand, or while being ignorant about the thing. Because there's nothing worse than stopping to learn, right? Anybody is existing and they're not learning anymore. I mean, there's nothing worse which can happen to a being than that, actually. If you're living but you're not learning, and you're not that thing, I think that scope is there now for the Vedic things to be learned. Okay, because Vedic thing has been ignored completely. People went into the Egyptian thing, the Mayan thing, everything has been gone into a whole lot, but the Vedic thing has not been. Okay, it's
missing, right? Because it's the Rig Veda is gone, not able to be found, interpreted, blah blah blah.
Yeah, the whole Vedic knowledge, not just one text, because it's not a one text thing. Vedic is not a one book religion or anything like that. There are thousands and thousands of texts. Okay, and they are spoken. Because the Vedic thing was all based on speaking and listening and learning from that. It is not textual thing, because in the Vedic thing, one could only learn from actually hearing, because even the vibration of hearing affected you. So in the Vedic thing, how you spoke, what you spoke, everything mattered. Not just when you read words on a book, they're just, they don't have a voice, they just are sort of, there's not that to that. So the Vedic thing was always concentrating on actually listening to the one who knows and then learning directly like that. So that's why they never bothered to write things. Most of the texts were written on text only 5,000 odd years ago. Okay, so
interesting.
Yeah, so before that, nobody even bothered to write anything. It was just verbal transmission, of knowledge, So because that is the proper way. Right now, people type a lot. A lot of people type a lot. This is a typing. But they can't speak whatever they're typing.
Mm-hmm.
You meet the same people, they can't say the things which they are typing. Okay. So they become speech deficient. Okay. Like the point is, like, speaking is an important, like, you eat food from the mouth. Okay. And then it goes in the stomach and gives you energy. And then energy has to come back through the mouth as speech. Okay. So that is a principle. Okay. And if you otherwise you are like cheating on like food source, energy, divine. And what you speak, if you're not speaking the truth or the fact or the pure principles of the multiverse, or like, then you're wasting your energy which you have gotten from the food. Okay. So that's a naughty thing you're doing. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the kind of thing one gets into trouble with in the multiverse. Okay. So speech is an important thing, but they don't teach that at any school. Okay. But thankfully, like right now, even if a lot of the things on YouTube which are happening, like, okay, like which people are speaking, they're all speaking, right? People are giving information through speech. Everybody has to speak now. Okay. Yeah. I mean, for a while, nobody was speaking at all, like Jim saying, like, so now people have a chance to actually hear and listen and speak themselves. So that opportunity is there, for everybody, and to center their speech as well, like, like that, to make sure that you're speaking from the center of the mouth, because all these accents which people have gotten used to make one speak from the side of the mouth. Okay, that the twang, like, because then that means you're being sidey. Okay, and being sidey doesn't mean, that means, like, the word sidey is a bad word, right? It means you are not to be trusted. You can't be relied upon. You're not a person of your word. Like, if you're a sidey person, so the centeredness, like, balances the left and right side, because people are always struggling with the left and right side. Okay, are they going too much into the left, or they're going too much into the right? They're going, and both create problems.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, whether it's, I mean, and the same thing they create in these kind of things, they create like Republicans or Democrats, or this or that, or this or that. They create this duality everywhere.
Right.
And they give people this option, when the option is none of those things. Option is always the center and the middle. Okay. So, I mean, whether you vote for Republicans or Democrats will make no difference to your life anyways, actually. Who becomes a president, who becomes a prime minister, any country makes no difference. Because whatever is going to happen is going to be decided by some other people. It's not going to be decided by these people. These people are just like fifth grade, just reading scripts.
Right.
Yeah, that they have no other job besides that. So, yeah.
And you do believe that the control is in Europe? That's the head honchos, right? Like the.
Because that was there. I mean, like what was England was overtly ruling 75% of the world not so long ago. Okay, so I mean, now overt things can become more covert. That's all. From overt to covert control. That's that thing. Because in a covert control, you don't have to fight that hard. When people are under overt control, people like rebel back and things like that. You have to face all of that. When you have covert control, it's easier for them.
Yeah, I have a question. This came up yesterday, and I just want to know. We don't have to talk about it at all, but the Aryans. What's the deal with Aryans versus? Like, I know because somebody made a comment. They're not Indians. They're Aryans or something.
Right. Okay.
I was confused.
This was again a thing made up by these people only. This whole Aryan invasion theory and all of that was made up by these people in the 19th century, right? Okay, and it is now a lot of scholars have proven it to be fraud, like it's fraud theory. I mean, Aryan is saying like Aries. If you are an Aries person, if your main sign is Aries, then you are Aryan.
Oh, okay.
Aryan, which is Aryan. So all Aries people on this planet are Aryans. Aryans.
Wow. That's easy. That's an easy way to put it.
They are Aryans, like. I mean, that's like saying that, like, I'm Taurian. Like, you can be Aryan, you can be Taurian, you can be Geminian, like you can be,
Yeah.
You can be Leonid, like Leonids, like. I mean, you can make a lot of theories like that. I mean,
but that's a good way of looking at it, because it's just so.
Yeah.
There's so many stories out there. There's so many principles, and regardless of whatever is right, your way is the most balanced. It's good to be like that because it doesn't control your life. It doesn't make decisions I have people that left kids over learning about this stuff, and just, just a lot of crazy. It's making
Because
people.
they're imbalanced. I find the situation in the West is very problematic in the thing because they don't have any basics right. Okay, they don't
Right.
have any.
And they don't know, and we don't know.
Yeah, so there's no
I
basics. The
know.
diet is not right. The seeds are not right. Like the food is not right. I mean, everything. So people's mind is, like there's so much going against, because the basics are not right. Because in the Vedic thing, the basics are the most important thing. What you eat, how you speak, what you're doing with it, what you're eating, what you're like, all of that is most important. Okay. Once you get balanced in that way, then you can tackle things more easy and have a same reaction to it. Otherwise, your chance of going insane is very. That's why, in the West, when the thing happened, like spirulina fad happened. Okay, so everybody was eating spirulina. Okay, and people said like, okay, they're going to just eat spirulina only and nothing else. And a lot of people went bonkers and crazy because they just ate spirulina, and that is just an algae, and you just can't live on an algae, and which turns inside out, that algae actually, even in the sea. And what can happen to your brain will become all vata, your whole body will become vata, and you'll become nuts. Like you'll become nuts very quickly. So there's no balance in the diet or anything like that, which if you don't have that balance in your diet or in your living, then it'll show in other things as well. So it's very easy for them to race along with just one thing or get carried away with something without really understanding it, because you're not balanced as a being in the first place when you're tackling those things. And so the West has a lot to learn in that, just in basics and balance. Okay, before it goes into any of these things or learnings, that's why they, even to learning Vedic things, it becomes hard for them because, there are people who learned Vedic astrology in the West and they never learned the Devanagari alphabet. So, which is the 50 letters. Now, English only has 26. So there are a lot of sounds which are missing. If you just speak English, like a lot of sounds will be missing from your vocabulary. So but the Sanskrit script covers all of those sounds. Okay, so then when you come to Nakshatras or when you come to any other Vedic knowledge, you get a more understanding and sense of what it is. When you practice, when you've done the basics. But I don't see people doing the basics right, and then they jump into like without a foundation, you can't make a building, right? Okay, it'll fall, and that's what keeps on happening. People keep on making that building without a foundation, and it just keeps on falling, and it's over and over and over again. This is the same cycle repeats itself, So getting down to basics is the most important thing. In the Vedic teachings, whenever like the rishis, the ancient seers used to teach their students, they would teach them basics first. So you start from there, and then from there you can that thing. But right now it is like just information. Okay, you can get all the information, but you can't process it.
Yeah.
You don't have the centering or the being to process it and make something of it. You'll get carried away by everything, and then you join the what is called the lunatic fringe, the like lunacy strikes. Either way, whether you are a person, the conspiracy thing, which is not conspiracy, which should be just called truth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What is conspiracy is what they are telling you.
Right.
What NASA says is a conspiracy, is what you say against that conspiracy is the truth, actually. It should be the other way around.
It really should. And that's totally.
Yeah. And all of that, people have to just take care of themselves first. Okay. Even in the plane, they say, put your mask on first.
Yes.
If you take care of your own being first, then you're in a better position to help others. Right now people say, I want to help people. Like all the people are out there. I'm here to help you people, right?
Right.
Are you there to help yourself? Have you helped yourself first?
Yeah, I can tell you, because before I found this, I was not helping anybody. That's for sure. You do have to get control of yourself first. And people that think that they're under control, they're probably not. The ones that follow all this stuff, they're the ones that are lashing out or going crazy. They haven't figured out.
All that is happening from basic imbalance in their body. Their body is imbalanced. Their humors in their body are imbalanced. Everything is imbalanced. Their speech is imbalanced. Their mind is imbalanced. They're not centered enough. So out of that, all the confusion is going to come. It's but natural. Everything happens naturally in the multiverse.
And I'm certainly not. I'm not sitting here saying that I know. That I'm even this close to being on your level. But I do say I spent 4 years, how I studied the astrology. I feel like that was really helping and healing me
you change your diet and stuff. You change your diet and you change your
change
living
and you don't even realize
lifestyle.
what you're doing. You
Yeah,
know, you really don't. You stop watching TV. That's number one. Beauty. Stop the TV. You stop watching that junk because it's don't even have it playing on in the background, you know, and I don't listen to music with words. So I like beats and sounds, and then I can think.
I mean, again, you can't have in the beats, you can't have machine beats. Okay. Because the thing with machine beats, whatever is made on a computer as a machine beat, is very different from your heart. Because heart rhythm, your heart doesn't beat like a clock.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't beat like a watch. Okay, so that's why they give watches to people. So I mean, because watches are like a machine beat, right on top of your. This is where your pulse is coming from your heart. Okay, your pulse is here. Okay, so right on top of that pulse, you put something which has a machine beat. So it's like putting two songs together. So that machine beat will affect your heart rate variability. So I mean, if your heart actually beat like a clock, you will have zero immune system, and you will die anyways. Like if your heart actually beat like a clock, but it doesn't beat like a watch. Your heart actually, it has variability, and that variability is the thing which gives you immune system. Okay.
Wow.
And
what about drums? Drums are okay.
So it's organic. So organic. If people are playing something, that rhythm will never be like a computer rhythm, which they made it on just exact numbers and stuff. So that's why the techno music and all of that is a problem. Just like a watch, wearing a watch is a problem. Techno music is a problem. All these things like the disco, it started from disco, sort of. And disco came from disconnected only. Like the word disco is a short form of disconnected. They're disconnecting you from nature, natural.
I'll tell you, when I play my drum, that's a different experience. It's like meditation all in itself. And
so like the term for that is organic now. Okay, human organic, right? These days that's the term for it, isn't it? I mean, there's machine beat and then there's organic beat. Okay,
so that's okay, right?
Yeah, organic beat is organic beat. That, I mean, if a human being is playing it, something that's different. Okay, but human being can't play something like a machine. Okay, machine is exact. Okay.
Well, it's funny now that I'm sitting here thinking about this. My house music taste went from techno, okay, like back in the days, to more so spiritual house music, like less intense, more loungy music.
But it's a question of point is, it should not be made on a computer. If it's made on a computer with the beats, it'll always be bad for you.
Gosh, now no more house music for me.
Okay, but I mean this is the science to it. I mean this is actual reality of what the situation is. It's not. I mean, it's not like making something up. I mean, if your heart is beating here and you put a watch on it, which is giving like a machine beat on top. I mean, you know what you're doing. You are interrupting your heart, and you are causing yourself a loss of immune system, loss of life force, loss of spiritual life force, everything.
Watch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy because I break watches and I stopped wearing watches. I sold all my good watches, and it's just everything you're saying though. I naturally did it.
Yeah, well, I mean it can happen. Like, I mean, but not everybody will be so lucky as to like that thing. So like
I went through a lot of financial things too with my nice Saturn return. So I was like, clean house, get rid of everything. But seriously, it's interesting you say that.
But how it relates to music, it carries forward to other things. It doesn't stop at a watch. It carries on to this machine beats. Okay, and when you're listening to them, again, you are training your heart in the wrong way. Okay, your heart rhythm in the wrong way, like So I mean, these things are. I mean, more and not many people are talking about this. Okay, I find that I'm like people don't talk about these things at all, and these are things which are missing from the truther community right now on YouTube. Like, so,
right. What else? Give me a couple more. Do you have any more?
I mean, basics is the main thing. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm going to focus on the basics always. Okay, that is the missing as a whole.
The basics. Right.
That is just not there. Okay, people are just not concentrating on that. Okay, and that is making life tough for everybody. And people are sincere. Like, people are sincere and people are seeking and people want to know the truth. But for that, you have to get to the live the truth of your body first. Like, you have the body, you have this consciousness, and you have that thing. You have to live the truth of that first before you saying that you're really sincerely seeking the truth in the outside world. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inside first, outside later. Inside,
Yeah.
then outside. Yeah.
Right. What did you say? As above, so below, and then you said, what did you say?
As inside, so outside. Like,
As inside, so outside. Yeah.
yeah,
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 you've so, I mean, but you've done your research so much to know these things, and
yeah,
just little trick words that we're tricked into knowing,
yeah, yeah.
and how what they've spun them to make us believe that there's something that they're not.
Language, like the spell
Yes.
of the language. I mean, the word language, people don't understand language means land gauge, actually. It's the gauge of the land, actually. Every time you speak, you are programming not only the ground below you and your own brain as well. So what you speak, how you speak, like that's why Aboriginals used to have song lines in Australia, like, and they used to sing to the land to keep the tectonics in place. Okay, so
Well,
I mean, okay, so that's called like a earth song, like they call it like that thing. I mean, so all of this is actual real things. Okay, but nobody knows that language means land gauge. Okay, so like that the Oxford dictionary won't tell you, because Oxford means ox means earth. It was a symbol for earth. Always ox is bull, cow, earth. Ford was Old English for fraud. So Oxford means earth, fraud on earth. And then it's called Webster's dictionary, making a web. They're weaving a web, giving you names and definitions which are not what it means. The words don't mean that, actually. So people don't even know what they're actually saying. You know, like when they're saying hello, hello all the time, but they're not saying, they don't think they're saying hell is low, hell is low, hell is low. Like, okay. Like,
wow,
yeah, yeah.
it's just I just never thought of these things though.
Okay, yeah, because the whole, I mean, you can rewrite the whole dictionary. But dictionary never teaches diction. That's the funny part. Like, it's called dictionary, but it never teaches you diction of how to actually speak. Diction is how you speak. It's not taught by any dictionary. I mean, and everything is, that's why it's Webster's, Oxford. Like, it's
Right. It's so true. It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Think about
I mean, yeah, I mean, so I mean, like that. That's why, like, if beings are not even understanding English language, which they're used to from their childhood in the West, then how can they understand Sanskrit or any
it.
text in Sanskrit or anything related to Sanskrit? Because that's all Vedic knowledge is in. Okay.
Yeah, it's tough. It's been a
Yeah,
big
if you're not even understanding English properly first, then what hope you have with Sanskrit? Okay, so it comes to, like, everything has to be basics, like from A B C D, like everything has to be from that level only.
right.
And people shouldn't have the ego. People shouldn't have the ego that I'm not going to come down to that level. You'll have to, even no matter how old you are, you'll have to start back at kindergarten and that thing only. Yeah, I
We
mean,
don't even learn other languages. Do you
yeah,
notice every other culture is taught multitude of languages?
yeah,
We're not. It's English if you want Spanish, French.
yeah.
It's and I wish I would have
Not even
paid
English, it's Americanish. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It is really it's embarrassing now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, but even that is not known properly. I mean, that's not known for what it is.
Right.
Like, it's not taught, like what the real meanings of the words are. Like, nobody is questioning that. Like why is when say, like, they say word makes the world. When in the beginning was the word, and then the world came from the word. Okay, now between the word and world there's one L only. So what is that L? How does the word become the world? Like, just by one transformation. L means a transformation, a movement, a knotting. That's what an L is. Okay. I mean, but that is not taught. I mean, and they don't teach these things at school. Like, these things should be taught at school, right? But obviously schools are not going to teach you anything which can actually tell you something, which can empower you in any way. So this all education has to start from a very basic level. What is A actually? What is B? Okay. Now B has two boobies anyways, right? Okay, but then it becomes the term for breasts.
Right.
Boobies. All will be B words only, because B has got the two.
Right.
Okay, but people don't notice that. I mean, even I'm just talking about English language right here. Like, I'm not bringing in Sanskrit or anything. Okay. What I'm saying is the observation about that is not there even.
Right.
Okay. So then it becomes very difficult to, like, make a building or build a knowledge foundation or build anything. because you don't have the basics. So everything comes crumbling down, and everything is just like that thing. People are like putting their head against the wall, like, and a lot of people who go into researching and stuff, like they all get very, very angry and disappointed and very sort of negative and very sort of, like disappointed or sort of like through the whole thing. It doesn't bring them joy, like, oh, that thing, because they feel like they're going around like in circles, like they're just.
You know what? I need to chime in one more time and say that everybody who's watching now, just so everybody knows why I feel like this is so right, is because if you got a reading from me and it was dead on, and I've done like 1,000 charts, the knowledge came from you. So, because I do readings with Nakshatras. So there we go. I mean, that's why you have to listen to what you say, because for me to believe something, I've practiced it, right? I've used it, and I've used it. I've studied it up, down, left, and right, trial and error on my own self, in my life. And I think that's why this is so important to just these simple things. I
mean that's the right thing. I mean, even in flat earth and stuff, I mean, it is all based on practical experiments only. It's not like everything should be based on practical, real experiments. Okay. I mean, even with the diet, you eat something and you see how you feel. You eat different thing and you see how you feel. Like, I mean, it's all practical. You do the thing and then see, like, what happens. Like, I mean, that is real, that thing, like feedback is there. Like, I mean, there can be no lying about that. That'll be the truth, like, so everything should be tested in that way anyways. I mean, and that's why the globe fell, because the globe cannot stand up to any tests. It never could. Like, I mean, the fact that Earth is moving could not stand up to any test. Whatever experiments they did, even in the late 19th century, proved that Earth was stationary. It was not moving. Then they had to make up a whole theory of relativity just to make it moving again. Yeah. Like, so, I mean, So I mean, experiments, like you did everything practically. You see whether it applies, it works or not. Like, that's the whole thing. That's what should be done. I mean, and it being started doing more and more, and that will be like returning to basics only. I mean, I mean, you eat any kind of food and you see how you feel after that. You change it and you see how you feel. Like, I mean, it has to be done like that. I mean, it's not like taking the word of somebody saying something. You can try it yourself. Like.
It is scary to think, not scary, but it's upsetting to know that we're so controlled, though. And I mean, I'm happy I found it out at my age that I did, but people don't know this and live their whole life thinking they're going to hell, thinking that they're, going to, it's sad to me. It really
what is happening afterwards is another matter. What is happening to them right now itself, their lives, that is a problem. Like, that is, I mean, that's not a life. That's not the way human beings were supposed to live.
Right.
Like, human beings were not supposed to live like for filing up tax returns and filing up this and filing up that all day long and everything, and just paying bills and just this thing and just, I mean, that's not what human life is supposed to be, right? Like, I mean, that's not, like, I mean, what is their life right now is a sorry tale in itself, like, where you don't know anything, you don't have any proper food, but you still have to do everything, so. I mean, a lot of people like have to just live on sugar rush, even to do research, like they're just drinking Coca-Colas and, or on that sugar rush in order to do anything, and you can imagine what is happening to their health from doing that, So, like, I mean, all of that is, but again, the basics are not there. That's what the problem is in all of that,
I love that you said start by just standing on the ground.
Yeah.
Standing outside in the dirt.
Yeah, because human body is electrical equipment. Like, the sooner people understand it, the better, because it is all of your brain synapses, everything is electrical in nature in your body. Okay. And all electronic equipment need grounding. Okay. That's why you have the third pin in your wall sockets. And so, I mean, that's what grounds you, like by standing on barefoot on earth, that grounds you. So, and that grounding balances you. It takes away a lot of irritable energy out of you, like, which keeps on piling up because people have shoes right now. Nobody touches the ground because everybody is wearing shoes. So, it's like, but they've given everything. Like, they made sure they gave shoes, watches, sofas. They've given everything to people which will spoil them. Like bicycles, whatever could be the worst for human body, they have given. Okay, like, and it's not just chemtrails. People just look at these things, you know,
Yeah.
like there are many more basic things they've given you which are bad for you, which rather than all these like extraneous things people are looking for out there, like, you know. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
eye-opening. What are there any more big like little small things that you would say are very important like that? Watches,
yeah, yeah.
shoes.
Yeah. I
Obviously,
mean,
you have to wear
for
shoes.
females, I would say like the makeup stuff which they've given them. Like for females, I would like bring that out. Like Jim saying, I mean, it's if it's synthetic, it's bad for you. Like, you know, there is natural stuff.
Natural
If it's
makeup.
natural, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, but which will be good for your like it should be healing for your skin at the same time as, you know, like, I mean, then that's a different matter. Like it is there in everything. It's in scents, colognes, they think like, and people are putting them straight here, and that is going straight into your bloodstream, you know. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
instead of you can use rose water or jasmine water or something, which will be like much more better for your skin and better for your body. I mean, there's so many things. There are little things out, like from the toothpaste you use to everything, to the cereal you're eating, like, I mean, everything. Like, I mean, it's the soap you are using, it's in everything, like Jim saying. Like, I mean, they made it everything the worst possible for the human body. Okay, that's that's the yeah, that's the bottom line of it. Like, you know, so I mean, even the tube lights, like, and halogen lamps. Like earlier, we used to have like these bulbs, you know, like the full spectrum lighting. That was to be full spectrum. The yellow bulb, they were full spectrum, and this tube light and all these lights are much worse for your body, actually.
So like the fluorescent lights,
Fluorescent
the
light, yeah, which they say
ones that are
they're power
saving
savers. They're
you.
called power savers now,
I
right?
hate those lights. They're
Yeah,
purple. They give me headaches. I
yeah,
don't need
and all of that, like tube light. If you go to a hospital and everything, these all these tube lights. I mean, they like really affect your brain waves,
Wow.
like much more than any chemtrail would ever. Okay, I mean, so like,
That's good to know.
yeah, 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 and it's right next to you, and right, it's right in people's rooms and offices,
In
and
my
if you
kitchen.
see all the corporate offices, they have filled them up with tube lights. Hospitals, corporate offices, they're filled with tube lights. Like,
I
like,
hate lights.
yeah,
Seriously.
and these
When
lights are
this
there.
video's done, lights go off, windows shut. I'm like a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my light is only coming from outside, whatever light is there. I mean, I don't have any light on, but you know, like, I mean, that natural light is good enough. Like, it's a good enough thing. Like, I mean, and there are better, like even bulbs. The old style bulbs were better actually. Like they were, and they phased them all out in the name
You
of that
can't
they
even
can.
buy them anymore,
Yeah,
basically.
they phase them out saying that they take more power. I mean, how much more power? 40, 50 watts. I mean, 30 watts. I mean, what are they talking about? I mean,
Right.
here you have all these power wastage going on everywhere. You have stadiums full of lights and all of that, and then they're talking about like these little things. I mean, it makes no sense. Like, you know, like, I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
so
mean,
true.
it just makes no sense. Like, I mean, everything is it's just so illogical in all of these things. I mean, I can go on and on about these things. Like, I mean, we'll be here forever. Like, if I keep on going about these things, you know, like, yeah,
Well, I hope you come back and do another one with me. And then
yeah,
also,
yeah,
probably should have said this at the beginning. You have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to put all of your information underneath because you have a lot of great videos that talk about a lot of this stuff. I think
yeah.
and you have
Like, I
blog.
don't speak much in I don't speak much in my channel. It's mostly sounds and visuals.
Right.
You know, so I play music, and I play music which is like sort of, you know, like if I'm near the ocean, I'll make oceanic sort of music, and different settings I'm in, and you know, like just communing with nature sort of things. I mean, it's just like showing people a different way of being and different way of, you know, just affecting them on that level. You know, like speaking, I do mostly more like in the like I'm talking to you right now. So,
Right.
you know, like that makes more sense to me. Like, you know, like if I'm like if there's a conversation, like rather than me just speaking to a camera straight, just, you know,
Right.
yeah,
Weird. I
yeah,
know.
it's just like speaking to a camera.
Awkward.
Like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just very awkward. I hate doing those.
yeah, yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
much better doing this. At least there's live now, where if
yeah,
not, you can sit
yeah,
there and talk to your scroll. But yeah, that's true.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
mistakes.
I hope it was
Start a
good for
class.
you to, yeah, yeah. I hope it was good for you. This
Yeah, this was. And I think this is really simple things that are very important to know and just to help you feel a lot better. You
And
probably
no, and like if a lot of your audience is the kind of audience which is seeking the truth and that thing,
you are all truth seekers. They're
okay, so then they should like take care of the basics first, and after that you can do that. Okay.
right.
And the truth of the basics, let's just say like the truth, let's find the truth of the basics first, and then when you take control of yourself, the less power whatever beings you are fighting against, the established things, like the ones who are controlling, you will actually beat them by taking control of these little things only, and taking
You
control
don't
of it.
care as much anymore, too.
Yeah.
Little things they do,
But
you're
you'll beat them anyways, automatically, like because some people do want to beat them. That's their that thing.
Yeah,
But that's
true.
how it's gonna happen. Like
Yeah,
yeah, it's
very true.
it's not going to happen like by actually continuously putting too much energy into them. Like people are putting too much energy into these people. People are caring too much about all these people and stuff like that. People are putting too much energy into these people, and that actually gives them energy. It doesn't take it away from them.
You're
Okay.
right. And I will admit, I have done that. So for sure.
Yeah.
But it's funny, after I talked to you the first time we talked for a couple hours, I didn't want to even turn the like none of it. I just felt a lot better where I don't even want to know what's happening right now. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, because nothing is happening.
Right. Right. That's it. But this is so important. Like
it's one big zero is happening.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, if you go on a merry-go-round, right? You go there and you come back. You go there, you come back. Is anything happening? No, you're coming back in the same place over and over again. Like nothing is happening. You're not going up in a spiral or anything. Nothing is happening. Like all of these things, it's just distractions. It's just for something for people to talk about and lose their energy in while they are in their uncentered state, so that they don't evolve and they don't actually take care of their being and take responsibility for their being. That's all these things are for. Whether it's religion, and science is also a religion. Okay. Science is, for last 400, 500 years, you have to believe whatever they say. You have to think that, yeah, man came from monkeys, even though monkeys are still monkeys and will always be monkeys. Anything, like you have to always believe in the theory of evolution, or like everything came out of from one dot, which is theory of Big Bang. I mean, science is such a ridiculous religion. It is more ridiculous than other religions even, because it just has outrageous things, which you have to believe in just because they say so. The sun has nuclear fusion. Nobody has gone there, but you have to believe that. Earth has got this magma and core and stuff. Nobody's gone more than 12 kilometers. You still have to believe that. It makes you believe more things without any proof whatsoever.
It's true. Why? I mean, why does it, everybody's like, it's science, but who made those science books, right?
Yeah. I mean, these are theories. A theory doesn't mean fact, right? Everybody said, like Newton said, it was theory of like gravity. It was gravitational theory. There's not a fact. Now it has become gravitational fact. Okay. Everything starts out like a theory and it suddenly is like fact, and everybody buys it without any proof. Okay.
So true.
Yeah. I mean, so scientism is a very big religion, and there are many religions, like sportsism is a very big religion. Scientism is a very big religion. It's not just Christianity or Islam or any of these things.
Right. You're so
the one book things. They are called the one book Abrahamic things, which all have Abraham as their deity, and like which came from Brahma. Brahma was, if you take Brahma's A out in front, it becomes Abraham, like, which was a Vedic thing only. So even these things are coming from the Vedic, actually. But
I've been saying that.
But it's
one thing they didn't trick. Why? How come on a star chart app you can see in the sky that Saturn is in Scorpio right now? You could see it. Why did they not trick that? Switch that up to go with their Western astrology stuff?
No, because they don't have any power to do any of such things. I mean, people are giving them all kinds of power. People think that they can control the weather through harp, or they can't do any such thing. They don't have any power.
Yeah.
Everything is a hoax. Whenever they say they've got some power, it's a hoax. People think sun has got all these things. Sun can do this, sun can do that, sun can do nothing. Okay. Harp can do nothing. Okay. I mean, if they could, they would have done it. Like, they can't do anything. I mean, they didn't go to the moon. All people who are listening to your things, they know that they didn't go to the moon and all of that. So like it's like giving them powers they don't have. Like all their rockets are going sideways; they're not going up. Like, like so. I mean, people are like it's just like they should like everybody's shown that film Wizard of Oz as a kid in the West, right?
Yes.
Everybody has seen it. Okay, it is that person behind the thing. Does it actually have powers? The old man behind the screen.
Yep.
It does not have any power actually.
No, yeah, I know. I thought you were saying like, yeah, no, it doesn't. Right.
It doesn't. So it's the same thing. They're not, all of the things which are ascribed to them that they have this, they have that. None of it is true.
Right.
They have no power whatsoever. And that's why if they had powers, they would not be ruling like they are ruling. If you have power, you rule with style. Like you can come out in the open. You can that thing. You can be clear and open about everything. Okay,
Yeah. And that's what it's.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
feel you're right. People are evolving now, though. It's changing.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's getting better.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting better. I mean, because there is a free medium like internet. Like there's some free medium where people can actually that thing. I mean, they'll try to use it for control, and the beings who want to get off it will use it for spreading truth. So both sides are going to use the same medium. Like so, it's
right.
So that thing will happen here. Like, and it's happening. Like as you are interviewing me, or like I'm talking to you, and all of that is happening right now. So it's.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I don't want to take too much of your time, but thank you so much for coming on here and doing this. I really do appreciate it. Don't hang up yet. I'm just going to sign us off. Okay.
Yes.
So I really do appreciate it. And thank you for watching, whoever watched. Make sure I really actually shut it off. Hold on.